In 2024, Dubai property prices beat their all-time high, which means investors are still throwing money faster than ever. But the problem is, markets that rise this fast don't stay stable forever. You've heard the saying, what goes up must come down. So the question is, will 2025 bring even bigger gains? Or is there a major correction around the corner? Well, I've lived in Dubai since October 2021. I've studied Dubai's previous market cycles very carefully, and I spend all day, every day, speaking to investors. So in this video, I'm going to give you some insights into whether Dubai's real estate market is set to boom or bust in 2025, and what investors should be doing. So, to understand what's going to happen in 2025, the best thing we can do is rewind the clock. Because real estate markets don't move randomly. They're like seasons in the UK, not Dubai. They go through fairly predictable cycles of growth, cooling off and recovery periods. Just as winter always gives way to spring, crashes are usually followed by periods of growth and vice versa. Now, you can't control the exact timing of each phase, but if we looked at what's happened before, we can get a clearer picture of what's coming next. Back in 2012, Dubai's property market began heating up rapidly. Prices were booming at an average of around 21.5% per year. And by 2014, the city was booming. Investors were clambering over each other, developers couldn't build fast enough, and to be honest, it seemed like the good times were never going to end. Then in 2015, the price correction happened and dropped by 11%. And at first, no one panicked. But the decline continued, 0.4% in 2016, 3.9% in 2017, 8.6% in 2018, and 6% in 2019. Dubai had gone from booming to struggling, with more properties available than buyers to fill them, and then we all know 2020 came, and that's where the market practically froze. The world shut down, and Dubai's property market took another 7.1% hit. So, for a moment, it seemed like the Dubai dream might be over. But then, in 2021, I moved to Dubai and what I saw was unlike anything I'd ever experienced. The market wasn't just recovering, it was exploding. This wasn't just investors looking to flip properties, entire families were relocating. High net worth individuals were moving their businesses here, and global entrepreneurs were putting down roots. And it wasn't random. The UK had just announced new tax laws, inheritance tax, wealth tax, property restrictions. My brother, who works in rentals for one of the UK's biggest real estate agency firms, he can't even rent anything out. Not because they're not tenants, because no landlords are renting, they're selling up and leaving. And it's not just in the UK either. Crime rates were rising across Europe, economies were tightening, more and more people were looking for stability. So by late 2023, and even more so in 2024, the market was reaching new heights. Celebrities were moving in. People I'd only ever seen on TV were suddenly passing by me on the street. I'd see them grabbing coffee at the next table like I still do today. And all of these wealthy newcomers, they boosted the rental market. And then the rental boom began and had a big knock-on effect on the property prices. So much so that by the third quarter of 2024, Dubai saw over 50,000 property transactions worth nearly 142 billion dirhams, a 38% increase from the previous year and a highest number ever recorded. But as I mentioned, right, booms don't last forever. Markets always move in cycles, and with prices at record highs, the big question is, how much longer can this momentum last? Well, to answer that, let's firstly take a look at Dubai as it stands today. You know, for me, right, Dubai tells a tale of two different cities. On one side, you have places like the Palm, the Marina, and established villa communities where properties are getting snapped up within hours of listing. Buyers are outbidding each other and sellers are commanding premiums well above the asking price. And that's the reality of prime Dubai today. You see, these premium locations aren't just holding value, they're booming. A 3-bedroom villa that sold for 3 million dirhams in 2021 will probably fetch around 5 million dirhams today. Now, for an investor, that means a potential of doubling your capital in just a few years. And when you stack up Dubai's price per square foot against London, New York, Miami, it still looks like an absolute bargain. A luxury apartment in Dubai would probably set you back a third of what you'd pay in Manhattan. So that means there's still plenty of room to grow in these premium areas. But then there's the other side. Now, there are areas outside of the main city where anyone can buy a plot of land, okay, me or you, and we can build whatever we like. No master plan, no real structure, just a free-for-all, and to be honest, a lot of developers are throwing up projects as fast as they can. Now, in these areas, you'll see maybe 10 identical towers going up side by side, all targeting the same buyer, all promising the same amenities. And if you bought one of these units today, you might see short-term gains. But what happens when all of these projects complete simultaneously? Think about it. Like a brand new restaurant opening in town. At first, it's buzzing, everyone wants a table. But then 10 more identical restaurants pop up on the same street, all serving the same food, and suddenly the demand spreads too thin. And some of them don't even survive. Now, of course, right now, demand is keeping things afloat. But fast forward a few years, and we'll likely see a flat line or even fall in prices in these areas. You know, what looks like a bargain today could easily stagnate or even drop in value when thousands of identical units flood the market. Some developers will survive, the ones with the strong branding and the solid track record, but many of these small, no-name builders simply won't make it as the market matures. Which is why picking the right location and the developer is everything. And if you need guidance on who to use, where to buy, and which steps to take when investing in Dubai, you can download our free Dubai investment checklist in the description. But with that all being said, Dubai as a whole is still growing at an incredible pace. You can literally see it everywhere. New roads, new buildings, schools, bridges are being built all the time. And for property owners, this infrastructure development directly translates to the value. When a new school or metro station gets announced near a property community, values can jump up between 5 and 10% almost overnight. So while some parts of the market are heading towards oversaturation, the areas tied to infrastructure, lifestyle, and real global demand still have plenty of room to grow. So with all this rapid growth and development happening before our eyes, are we headed for a boom or bust? Well, unlike 2014, when oversupply crashed the entire market, today's Dubai is fundamentally different. The population has grown by a whopping 77%, from a population of 2.2 million in 2014 to 3.9 million in 2025. In just 10 years, this has created a massive housing demand that simply didn't exist before. But there's one wild card that could change everything: tax policy. Most of Dubai's appeal is built on stability and business-friendly tax environment. As long as these conditions hold, the market stays strong. But remember, this is a place where decisions happen instantaneously. There's no long-winded political process. If tomorrow they decide it's 20% tax, it's 20% tax from tomorrow. Now, of course, they are smart enough to know that going too far would wreck investor confidence, so they've been very careful. And we've seen reports that there will be no income tax, unlike some rumours that have been going around the market. But there is one thing to note about Dubai tax. Unlike places in the UK or Europe, you don't really see the money being well spent. At least in a place like Dubai, you can see the new infrastructure and how much emphasis they keep on keeping the city clean, safe, and very nice to live. But it's something every investor should keep in the back of their minds. It's fair to say Dubai does rely on expats. If conditions shift, people can leave just as quickly as they arrive. There's no deep-rooted local population holding up the economy, no generational homeowners keeping the market stable. Truth be told, if enough people pack up and go, that's when the cracks could start to show. But history has shown us that regardless of how severe these corrections get, prices have only ever dipped around 30% before, bouncing back stronger than ever. So the goal isn't to time the market perfectly, it's to buy in the right location, from the right developers, with properties that can withstand market shifts. That way, you'll have a solid investment come rain or shine. However, even if the developer has a great reputation and the area looks perfect, there are still things you always have to check before investing in Dubai real estate. Because if you don't, it can literally cost you millions in lost value and years of headache. So check out this video next, where I have revealed exactly what to check before buying any property in Dubai.